Hello guys, and welcome back. Hello Roy.
Hello, Baudouin. How are you?
I'm very fine. It's always a pleasure to see you, for sure, but to discover new beauties. It's the second episode of Talk Vintage to Me, where a new deep dive with me into the beautiful world of vintage watches. If you are like me and you don't know much, you are at the perfect place because we do have Roy here who will explain everything about the pieces, the details, the story behind the product. And if you know quite a lot of things about vintage, you are also at the right place because you have Roy here. So, which is great also. You brought us 3 pieces today.
Yes.
An AP, a Breguet, and a Vacheron Constantin.
Yes.
2 perpetual calendar, and a tourbillon for Breguet. Could you please introduce us to that piece? What's the reference number? What's the story behind it?
So this is a reference 25554.
Okay.
It is the first perpetual calendar from AP, also known as the 5554. The technical feat that Audemars Piguet was able to do with this watch is that they kept the exact same case proportions as the 5402, which is the original AP from 1972, added a full perpetual calendar with triple indication and moon phase.
Is it the first perpetual calendar that you can find in Royal Oak?
Yes, that's what it is.
Okay, great.
That's the first. And what they did is that they were able to hide the extra thickness they needed for the module inside the bezel. That's why only the bezel is a little thicker, but the bracelet and everything else is identical to the original Royal Oak. One of the details that you can notice about this one is that there is no leap year indicator at 12 o'clock.
Okay.
That can be found on later models with a crosshair, which says leap year first, second, third.
Okay.
And the second thing, since it's an earlier piece, the Audemars Piguet is written in smaller fonts, and then later, as of the early 90s, it becomes in thicker font.
So on this one, to make sure that I understand what you are saying, so we can see that the crown, the bezel is a bit thicker because
the thickness, yes, of the bezel.
Because we have those pusher over here.
Yes.
And also you told me that it's a flat dial.
Yes, instead of being the petite tapisserie that you usually find on the 5402.
What are all the details about that piece?
So this was actually the first mass-produced perpetual calendar. Other brands had developments, but in the late 70s, early 80s, Audemars Piguet was it. They were the best at what they did. You had Patek Philippe that was still doing some older models.
Okay.
This actually pushed Patek to give birth to the 3940.
Interesting.
Because they were making more of them. Before that, you had the 3448, the very famous perpetual calendar. And the same as this, without the leap year indication, even though it did take it into account. And then, of course, the 3448 turned into 3450 with a few exceptions, where you can see when it's a leap year by a little window. And here, as I said earlier, by just crosshair indication, the arrow being in one of the 4 quadrants. Okay.
So if you are in a boutique or you go online, how do you know it's a 25554 BA from, you told me that's 86, right?
Yes, from the 80s. So how do you tell the difference between the 2 references is basically going to be the thickness and the positioning of the pushers.
Okay.
So you need to have a watch to compare to so it's easier to see. Or if you know them by heart, you can just see at a glance that it's a thinner one and just that's the earlier one. And this one actually is nice because it comes with a certificate of authenticity, which was done at AP while it had a full service done. It actually also comes with its original winding box, which is kind of cool.
And what's the price?
Due to recent auction bump, it's going to be around 125,000 Swiss francs.
The second one is a Breguet. What I love about it, it's a design. And I know that a watchmaker worked on it. A certain Daniel wrote. What's the name, reference number?
This is a 3357. The predecessor was a 3350. This happens to be probably one of my favorite tourbillons ever made for many reasons. A lot of aesthetic issues appear in tourbillons today because of the fourth wheel, because sometimes of the iron wheel and certain details which brands were not able to take care of. But this has been attributed to Daniel Roth. And when he designed this watch, what he did is that he placed a tourbillon at 6 o'clock, and at 12 o'clock, he moved up the hour and minutes, which allowed him to move away some of the wheels and gears that usually you see in tourbillons from other brands, specifically the ones I have to show after. On top of this, very intelligently, they did a triple arm on the tourbillon cage, which shows on
it's a small second.
Yeah, small second, but it's just a 1/3 up to 20 seconds. So it uses that space quite well. And then the rest of the dial is all engine turned with the secret Breguet signature engraved on the metal at 12 o'clock on both sides of the number 12, with a number on the dial matching normally the number on the case back. So it's a very interesting detail because on the back it says Brevet du 7 Messie d'Or en neuf. That means the year 9 of the new calendar after the revolution.
The French Revolution, yes.
Yes, when this was patented. And on top of this, you can see the beautiful
hand engraved
taille douce. They call it taille douce is for shallower engraving, and taille dure.
What does that mean?
Taille douce has been basically they just engrave more shallow, and taille dure is when they engrave much deeper.
Okay.
So taille douce is basically more shallow engraving, which but gives it beautiful depth still. The case is also coin edge, which is typical for Breguet with those very typical empire lugs. The dial is absolutely mesmerizing with the guilloche, and as I said, the double secret signature around the 12 o'clock, and the tourbillon cage, which also has some engraving on the base of it. This, for me, is the tourbillon.
Okay.
Other brands
let me have a look, please.
Yes,
okay.
I'll...
So, how do you know it's a 3357 BR tourbillon made by Breguet?
So the 3357 basically is this look. It's that size, it's this look. The only one you can confuse it with is the 3350, which is the predecessor.
Okay.
It's just an earlier variation.
Okay.
The nice thing is that the first variations, the engraving completely encompasses the wording on the case back, and the second or third series already, there's more space so you can read the engraving a bit better. They made it more legible, and it's just called 3350, which are really like the Roth era tourbillons, even though he left the same year that the tourbillon was launched. Yes.
Okay, but he worked on it.
Yes, and that's why his architecture looks so similar to this.
Yes, and what I find really interesting is, so you have the tourbillon at 6.
Yes.
And at 12, you have the minute hand who goes
below.
Below.
Yeah, the disc of the 20-second register.
That's quite funny because usually on Breguet, you don't have that depth on the dial. It's usually flat with hand engraved or...
Well, other than the Tradition that has a lot of depth, but the disc is very flat, yes.
Yeah. So it's handmade guilloche.
Yeah, engine turned.
Yes,
in English, they call it engine turned. It's usually hand guided.
And what is the price?
We're asking 35,000 Swiss. It comes a full set,
box
box,
and
papers, rose gold. It's truly one of my favorite watches.
I have to admit that I like it most than the AP.
It's very different.
It's very different, I know. And with the VC we will discover later, it's
10 years ago, they were similar price point.
No way.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, you could pick up a perpetual calendar for around 20,000, and you would pick up a tourbillon for around 16,000, 17,000. The AP is the one that did the biggest leap. Yes.
That's crazy. And the final one, it's a Vacheron Constantin perpetual calendar with a pavé dial. And it's been released in 1996.
Yes, so this watch was sold in 1996.
Okay.
This particular example is actually considered to be unique because nowhere have Vacheron found a second one. because of the configuration between this bracelet and this dial and complication. That means that this bracelet exists on another model.
Okay.
This case and dial exists in other model, but the combination of the two is only done one time. And it even comes in box, papers, tool, and original invoice.
So this one is kind of a piece unique,
Exactly.
available on the market.
Yes.
Okay. So if you see this piece, you are a lucky man.
Yes.
Could you please explain him all the details about it?
So to differ a little bit from the predecessor,
Yeah, because there is a connection between the...
there is a huge connection.
Yeah.
They use the exact same base caliber.
Which is made by...
The movement was made by Jaeger. They used it in the Patek Nautilus 3700.
Okay.
They used it in the AP 5402. That's not chronological, but that's how this is just telling you. And they used it in the Vacheron 222. So all three of these iconic models have the exact same engine. That's why they have just two hands, no center seconds or sub-seconds, and the date at 3 o'clock. But this is the quote-unquote non-date version. It's the same thing, that same exact caliber on the base, except decorated a little bit different because AP and Vacheron decorated their movements a little bit differently, but both the best that there was in the day. And one of the nice things with this is that one step above the AP, it's a lapis sky with a gold moon instead of being just a blued sky.
Okay. So you have a lapis lazuli sky on this one. Okay.
And it doesn't need a second hand for the leap year indication because instead of having 12 months, it has 48 months. So that you can always tell which year you're in, whether it's year 1, 2, 3, or the leap year.
Okay.
And it's also beautifully pavé, blued steel hands. It's quite nice, and the bracelet is quite large. It's really, really a comfortable piece to wear. Really, there's nothing much else we can say about it. It's really an amazing piece.
You have to go out tomorrow.
Yes.
It's a proper dinner. Which one will you pick?
So, multiple questions.
Yeah. And you, if you have to choose between the third, the three,
which one you choose?
Yeah.
No, so for me, it all depends. If it's going to be a dinner with a certain type of clientele or friends, I would probably do the Breguet as a more chill piece. Then mid-range, I mean, it's still upper, I would do the Royal Oak.
Okay.
And then upper, I would do this one because it's diamond pavé.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the value.
Piece.
Yes, nothing to do with value, more to do with the wow effect. This retails for 65,000 Swiss francs. And as I said, it comes with everything, box, paper, tool, and original invoice from the 90s. Great. Yeah.
And you guys, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to comment. And I'm sure Royd will do everything to answer properly. And if there is any pieces that you would love to see in the following episode, do not hesitate to mention them. Roy, thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me on Talk Vintage to Me.
Due to your watches and what you just told me, I'm sure I know more about vintage now. Thank you, Roy. Thank you, guys.